Good morning. How are you today? I cannot believe it has been 3 months. 3 months since I had my explant done, and I cannot wait to dive in and really talk to you vulnerably about my experience and what I felt. And it has been like so much harder than I anticipated it being. First, I have Dunkin Donuts coffee because our kitchen is slightly torn up at the moment. We had to replace our sink and then the countertop. The builder that did the bus put in like a Formica countertop, and so it had a leak and then it went through and had mold. Ugh. It was gross. It was gross. So we don't really have any water in the kitchen right now. So we can't use our coffee maker, which means my amazing partner Kyle went and got me some Dunkin. So there's no fancy teas or coffees that are happening today. But I do have what did I get? Oh, I got a hot latte with oat milk. Grateful for it. If you are new here, my name is Jen, and I love clothes and sharing stories of my life to help others feel not so alone in theirs. And so in these videos, I make coffee or tea. We sit down and chat while I put my makeup on, and then I go and dopamine dress, and you get to see my outfit, the complete transformation. But today, stick around till the end because I have got a really big announcement that I have promised everyone. And so I cannot wait to share with you what is going on in my world and where my life purpose is headed. I'm so excited about this. But without further ado, and at the end, I am going to take off my top here and show you what I look like in a bralette now. I'll probably do like a before and after, so you can see the before of the size of breasts that I got, and then the after now. Hey, Chico, you want to come up here? You want to come up here, Chicos? Look at the Chicos. Say hello. Say hello, everyone. Okay. I got my makeup. I have some other videos on my breast implants and the removal, and so I'm going to link those videos down here. So if you want to be caught up on the whole story, go ahead and listen to those in the description, and then you can know what happened behind the scenes. So I'm going to take it from getting my breast implants removed in Michigan. I had this surgery done September 8th, 2025. My previous breasts that were in my body were 600 cc's. So the prior doctor put just entirely too big of breast implants. So they just were causing me so much back pain, so much hurt. Like I had a lot of brain fog. My body just didn't feel good. And coupled with the back pain, oh my gosh, the back pain was so horrible. Kyle had to rub my back every single night with like special creams because it hurt so bad. So these boobs were way too big for my body, causing me a lot of pain. And being nomads, you have to kind of stop what you're doing in order to get surgeries done and do doctor appointments and that sort of thing. So we knew that we had some time in Michigan where we could get this done. I got some quotes, and my favorite quote was from a doctor who was in Michigan that had her own surgery center, which was for sure a requirement for me. I wanted a female doctor. I had just male doctors previously, so I really wanted a more caring touch this time. So I found her, went in, got my surgery scheduled, went in for surgery. She did it. The thing was that my breasts were so large, right? They were 600 cc's. And so that was a lot of stretching, a lot of pain. And what that meant was there was going to be so much reconstructive surgery that needed to be done. And because of that, my surgery ended up being over 3.5 hours to have my breast implants removed and then everything lifted. And the first week was really hard. I don't really take a whole lot of drugs or do surgery or any of those things. I try to be as natural as I can. And so with doing this surgery, I was going to have to go under for anesthesia, and the anesthesia made me not feel good. I had this just horrible headache that would not go away. And then I started developing a fever the second day. And then I had to end up going into the emergency room. They did a whole bunch of blood work up. They couldn't find anything that was causing the fever. So the following day, I stopped taking the hydrocodone, the pain pill, and I started drinking coconut water. This was a game changer. If you are ever sick, dehydrated, recovering from surgery, coconut water was amazing. It hydrated me so quick. My headache stopped, and the further away I got from the pain medicine, the better I was feeling. So at about a week after surgery, I felt so much more myself. I was able to get my drains out. There really wasn't anything draining overall. I was healing really, really well. So I did a update at 2 weeks. And at 2 weeks, I was feeling pretty good. There wasn't a ton of residual pain. Keep in mind that 2-week video was before I really could see myself. There was still kind of bandages on there. There was still a lot of healing that was going on. And I am proud to say after 3 months, probably about 2.5 months, all of my incisions finally healed. And there's a lot of them. That was one of the things that came after the 2 weeks, was when I really started looking at them for the first time. They're healing up, they're getting better, and they're not pretty. I don't think people talk about this enough, because you really want to love your whole self, right? Or at least I really want to love my whole self. But looking in the mirror, when you have all of these beauty standards that historically are put upon women, and you look in the mirror and you're like, oh my God, my partner's never gonna want to have sex with me again. These look hideous. And so these thoughts weren't as bad as what they used to be before I really started loving myself. And it was harder than I thought it would be. I really thought that once I got these out, I would be like, oh, yep, I love them. This is great. They're natural. They're everything that I need. But the problem is that I didn't, think about the reality of it. That's a big change, going from 600 cc's to now nothing, non-existent. And so they were like a C cup whenever it was about 2 weeks afterwards. And now I would say that I'm more of a B. And that's an adjustment, right? Going from a bigger cup size to a smaller cup size. It was great that I can now fit in really small bralettes. I can fit in really small t-shirts. That part is just awesome. That was phenomenal. Not having the back pain anymore, being able to fit into smaller things was really freeing. What was not freeing was having sex with my partner for the first time after having them removed. I was terrified. I was so insecure. I hadn't felt like this in years. My partner, Kyle, he has been really working on his healing journey too. And a lot of that was sexualizing women, because that's what we're taught in our society to do, is women are just sexual objects. Having those big boobs, when I got them, put in, I'd had big boobs when I got my implants was 2014, my original implants. And I felt sexy. I felt good no matter what weight I was. At least I had, big, nice boobs, right? And so then you go to fast forwarding to not having big, nice boobs. And my ego was like, what is going on? And so what I did was I looked at myself every day in the mirror. I looked at myself and said, I love my body. My body does beautiful things for me. I love my new boobs. You know, I would keep reminding myself all of these things, in which they're true. My body does amazing things. My body loves me right back. It gets me through the day. And so if I sit there and have a negative mindset about them and say, oh my gosh, these are so ugly, these are awful, and like I harp on the negative, right? If I harp on the negative about my body, that's what I'm going to feel inside. And so this was a really big lesson for me in loving my natural self, which is something I hadn't done for years. And it was hard. It was hard to walk through that insecurity to get to where I am now. And even now, one of them is slightly better shapen than the other. It looked like the surgeon did one really, really beautifully and then kind of was over it and wanted to hurry up and get this one done. That's what it felt like to me, or that's what it looked like. But I'm not a surgeon, you know, and I think maybe she did do her best, and this was what her best was given the large boobs that she had to remove. No blame on anybody else. It is what it is, and that's what I have. At the end of the day, I don't want to do any more surgery. I don't want to reconstruct anything else. I don't want to put implants back in. And so I love what I have. You know, nothing is going to change that. This is what I've got. And so I need to find a way to love these new breasts. So I think that's something that like people kind of shy away from talking about sometimes, is that it is challenging. Like, it's not easy. You know, some people are in tons of pain after surgery. Some get infections. Like, so many things can happen as a side effect of this. And I still would do it again. I would still get them removed again. And my advice for anyone that is wanting to get implants is to try to really fully try and love your natural self first. And then if you can't, get the implants. That is one thing. Hindsight is 2020. And looking back, if I would have loved my natural self, you know, if my partner was in a place to love my natural self, if I was in a place to love my natural self, it would have spared me the pain of implants, the emotional just trauma of implants. And I also know that I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't go through those surgeries and truly see what that was like. And now I can share my perspective for others in case they're wanting to get implants done, and they can have multiple perspectives. They can have multiple opinions and experiences from people to be able to make their judgment on if these are right for them. Because at the end of the day, I needed to get them. I needed to see that. I needed to know what it was like to be that epitome of American beauty. And from experience, I can tell you, it's not that great. No, not at all. I just love your natural self. It's what, you know, I wish I could have done sooner and learned sooner, and I didn't. I learned it in just the right amount of time for me. As hard as the illness was in the beginning, the first week, with just how painful that was, and even the emotional baggage of having to release a lot of insecurities, just not feeling like myself, not loving what I saw in the mirror, I would still choose to get my implants removed. I think they served their purpose. They were there for a time to teach me a lesson, and now I don't really need them anymore, which is pretty cool. If you are thinking about getting your implants removed, definitely ask people, reach out that you know that have had it done. Ask questions, talk to your partner, because that's a big thing. We do need to love ourselves, right? And ultimately our perspective is the one that matters. We have a partner, and we do like to include their perspective on how were feeling. You know, at the end of the day, Kyle was like, I just want you to not hurt. The breast didn't matter anymore. What mattered was that I was in a lot of pain every single day, and he saw it. And he said, no breasts are worth that. No, that it's not worth your happiness. So I really am so grateful for my partner for that. So have open conversations with your partner and talk and say, hey, this is what I'm feeling. Can we talk about it? You know, I think communication is everything. And I promised you getting to see what they look like now. Of course, I'm going to have my bralette on, right? And then I'm going to dopamine dress. And after I dopamine dress, I'm going to be telling you my super amazing, big life path purpose news. Now is the moment we have all been waiting for. I'm going to take my pajama top off. This is such a cozy top, by the way. I absolutely love sleeping in this every night. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take my top off and show you. And I'm wearing a bralette, so I'm not like just flopping my boobs out here. But I felt like it was important to give a before and after so that people can see like the difference and what they do end up looking like. So I'm going to put the before up right over here. Here's the after. This is 3 months. Yeah, crazy. 3 months after surgery. This bralette, I'll leave a link for it in the description. It is a Walmart bralette for $6.97. But for my new small boobs, it fits them great. It does have like a light liner in there, but you can take the liner out if you don't want it. I am so happy with my boobs. This was 600 cc's, and now this is probably a large B cup. If we're being real and honest, I was a 34 triple D before, and now I'm like, this is a small bralette. So I went down quite a bit. It's super comfy, cozy, cotton. The biggest thing is like no back pain. I don't have any more back pain from these big things over here. And, you know, it's been a beautiful growing opportunity for me, being able to really love my natural self and be happy with the boobies that I have. No more. 2 years ago, I stopped, actually 3 years ago, I stopped Botox, I stopped lip filler. And then this was just like the next evolution was the explant, getting my implants removed. And yeah, it's been quite a journey. I'm glad to see this one go. And now I am, you know, super happy with where I'm at and where my boobs are. 10 out of 10. If you are thinking about getting your implants removed, I recommend it. I feel so much better. It was a hard road. It was a challenge. It was difficult. And I'm so happy with my results and loving my natural self and just being me. Just being me, and that feels really good. Let me know. Do you have implants? Are you thinking about getting implants? Are you thinking about getting them removed? Let's talk in the comments and kind of share in this together. This is a long, hard road that society has put on women about our external beauty, and I think it's time we had conversations about it. That being said, I promised you some great, amazing, insane life path news. So let me go ahead and get changed. Hello. What do you think of my dopamine dressing today? I am wearing a summer flourish wrap dress, some OG palazzo pants, and then I got this while we were in Bay City. Meyer had these on like super clearance. So I got a Journey shirt and I kind of cut the sleeves and cut the bottom. And I'm in this like whimsical little outfit here. We're just staying around the bus today. We have homeschool to do, all those fun things. So I wanted to be comfortable, whimsical, and this is a small t-shirt. This is a small t-shirt. I have some like super crazy, amazing news. I am in fact going to be I've worked on this. I've worked on this behind the scenes. You know, I haven't been posting videos onto my Genuinely Being because I have been working on this in the background. I mean, among other things, right? But okay. I'm going to be starting a school, an SKOOL. It is an online community where there's different teachers and they have their own communities inside of school. And you subscribe to these communities and you learn different things. So for me, I am teaching emotional alchemy, or the ability to manage your emotions no matter what moment you're in and find your calm in the chaos. And these videos aren't anything like my current videos. They're not like telling stories of my life, heavy on that. These are down to the nitty gritty, the most simplest form of video, and they are here. And sorry, this is like my heart coming out right now. These videos, they are what I have done, the practices I have done, and the lessons I've taught myself with having my PTSD for 14 years. I also am a life coach, and through all of that training and my real world experience, I've developed ways of being able to find that calm in the chaos, to find peace, to find contentment, and be able to manage my emotions no matter what. And so this school community is going to have one lesson a week. We peel it back to the simplest form, and we work on this lesson the entire week. We have soul work, what I like to refer to as homework. We have our soul work in each video that we're practicing for 15 minutes a day. And then I've got 2 check-in posts, plus I will be in school between 5 to 6 p.m. 4 nights a week. And so that way you can kind of comment, interact with me, ask any questions you might have. We're going to grow down the road together, and I'm going to give you the tools that I used to get to where I am in life, mentally, physically, spiritually. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. On Monday, there will be a bigger post detailing everything and coming out with, all the deets for you. The doors open on Monday, and I'm ready to have people come with me that want to change their life for the better. And we're going to do it together. So yeah, that is my major announcement. I am opening up my own classroom, and it's going to look very different than what you see on YouTube. This is peeling back the layers and getting down to the absolute simplest form, growing down the road together. So I am so excited. Look for that post on my Jen Bethune Facebook on Monday. This is my look. It's going to be a beautiful day, and I am so grateful that you are here with me. Thank you for being here, being you. I love you so much.